Hey everybody, welcome to Campus Comics Cast, coming to you from Carbondale, Illinois, with special guests from the Campus Comics crew. And now, here's your host, the man with the previews in hand, Mike No.
Hello and welcome to another Campus Comics Cast. We're coming to you from inside Campus Comics right on Main Street in Carbondale, Illinois. And we're going to be taking you on your monthly tour through the November 2017 previews catalog. And to help me do that this month are
Scott Reed,
Dan Brown,
and Tyler Wright.
Okay, if you've listened to our first couple, we had another guy in here, Mike Atchison. And unfortunately, Mike had to take a different position. He moved out of the area, so we're just not technically advanced enough to try to Skype him in or anything like that. So sorry, Mike, but we'll dedicate this one to you, okay, if that helps at all. But we miss you, buddy, and hope you're doing really well out there. To fill in that space, though, we've got Tyler Wright with us, as you heard, a new face or a new voice, I guess. I don't know if you remember last month we had the new theme music. Well, that was Tyler that created and recorded that, and again, get to personally thank you again on the podcast for doing that. So much appreciated. And it earned you the prestigious 4th spot in the podcast, at least for this month. We'll just see how you do.
yeah. It'll be worth all the money you get. So.
That's right.
I'm on my training wheels right now, so we'll see how this goes.
Right.
But, yep, not a problem. I enjoyed making the song and enjoy the show.
I think it worked out really well. The other thing, in case we sound a little bit different, we've had a few minor audio issues in the first two, so we relocated to the mythical back room here at Campus Comics, which is kind of a pit of mystery, and most people don't even know it exists, but thanks to Dan, who's across the table from me, and a few other people, Mike being another one, the one that took off, it's looking much better back here. We can actually sit down and be comfortable and not feel like things are going to fall over on us, and we will get that opened up to the public at some time. If there are books that you are looking for as far as back issues and stuff when you come in, everything, don't yet have everything priced back there, but it can be found. So if there is something that you're looking for, we can locate it and make sure that you can take it home with you if you desire. So with all that stuff aside, I guess we need to start looking at the catalog. And
well, can I bring something up before we even crack this open?
Sure, absolutely.
Right here on the spine, we've got an ad for Stranger Things 2 on Netflix
Oh, that's right.
instead of a comic book.
Wow.
Has
Did not
anyone
notice
ever
that.
seen that before in a previous catalog?
No.
No.
Because there's no Stranger Things comic in here, right?
No.
I didn't see one.
There's probably some merchandise, but there's no, like, comic books are Diamond's purview.
Right.
So I guess we could talk about, we're going to do our first giveaway
Absolutely.
out of the podcast. So a few of us in this month's previews, there's a Stranger Things 2 poster. So basically the first, 2 or 3 people who make it into the store and say they listen to the podcast and want the Stranger Things poster, you will get that. So a little incentive to, and then of course we'd appreciate it if you would, once Mike puts a link up on the Campus Comics page, if you would share that link so other people can, be aware of the podcast.
Give it a listen.
So yeah, this catalog is full of ads for Stranger Things 2
Absolutely.
that is not a comic book.
Right.
I liked it. I already watched it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
me
a good
too.
time, but
Great.
it's
Yeah.
really surprising to see that kind of immersion,
Mm-hmm.
in the previews catalog for an ad.
Yeah.
It seems like a smart move, too. I mean, because the whole catalog is all pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of people that probably watch the show read comics or rent any of this stuff. So.
Right. And I'm surprised we haven't seen a Stranger Things comic yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it can't be too far down the line. But it is a great show if you haven't watched it. If you have watched it, you know how good it is. So come get a free poster and let us know you heard the podcast. All right. So I'd like to bring up something that I was completely remiss in last month's catalog, I think. And it just kind of comes up. It's like right at the first page of the Dark Horse section. And if you were a fan and are missing classic Vertigo comics, we're talking about Y the Last Man, Preacher, Fables, just all these classic stories. The person that launched that whole thing was the editor. Her name is Karen Berger, and she is now has her own imprint through Diamond Comics or through Dark Horse Comics, simply called Berger Books. And the first of the offerings from her are in this catalog. So check that out. This one's called Hungry Ghosts, and that's the first Berger Books. I think there's been 2 or 3 titles announced for that line right at this point. And are they in front of you, Tyler? Do you see the other titles, or do they mention them in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, this Hungry Ghost too is written by Chef Anthony Bourdain too. If anyone's a fan of his shows,
Yeah.
you can check out what he does with comic books.
The Bizarre Foods guy and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah. And to go along with that, where I was remiss in mentioning it last month, is actually the sister part of that is a new imprint in IDW called Black Crown, which is being done by what's her name, Shelley
Bond?
Bond.
Is it?
Yeah, it's heading up that imprint, and who she was is whenever Karen Berger left Vertigo and really set that whole thing down, kind of spiraling, because she was the glue that held that together. Shelley Bond was the lady that filled in, that took over and was an editor. She was an editor for 20 years with Vertigo, and she took over as the head editor when Karen Berger left. So they are trying, and they're hitting that pretty hard, that if you miss classic Vertigo, check out Berger Books and Black Crown, because they're really trying to fill that void. Because Vertigo, if you're reading any Vertigo stuff right now, I don't mean to be jumping ahead to DC, but if you're reading any Vertigo, it's not Vertigo. It's really not as we think of it. So I just wanted to hit on that before we move on. Anybody else next?
I don't have anything till page 51, so anything for 51, go.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, page 51, you've got a curator's collection of Will Eisner's A Contract with God. Not something I've ever read, and this is actually pretty pricey. But anytime Will Eisner's doing something, this year was also Will Eisner's 100th birthday, and we didn't hear a whole lot about that because it was Jack Kirby's birthday also. And even though Will Eisner kind of helped even get Kirby kind of jump started, Kirby considered him his first boss. We don't hear as much about Eisner, so something going on with Eisner. Several things with Eisner in this catalog, but that's something that jumped out at me in Dark Horse. Only thing I saw in Dark Horse.
The only thing I've got in Dark Horse is on page 67, and that's when it's sort of like some back catalog pages, it looks like. And I'm assuming these are things that are in stock now.
Yes.
What jumped out at me was the Leaving Megalopolis Volume 1, and that was the indie book by Gail Simone and Jim Calafiore.
It was Kickstarter.
Yeah, oh, that's right.
I got
Yeah,
the
it was a
Kickstarter
Kickstarter.
edition of that. I got lucky and got in on that.
And that's a really good book.
Mhm.
I'm surprised that isn't more popular than it is. It's almost like a Walking Dead meets superheroes
Right.
kind of thing, and I really like that, and I enjoyed the Surviving Megalopolis they did afterwards.
Yep.
But it is just sort of heroes that have been affected by some kind of otherworldly creature and are basically acting like super zombies tearing through the city. And it's, a group of survivors who have to get out of town, before they get taken by the superheroes, the former heroes. So it's a really cool concept, and I really wish there was kind of more of that. Like, if that were a monthly book, I'd be reading it,
Yeah.
for sure. But, yeah, it's a really good, sort of overlooked book.
Anything else? Got anything in Dark Horse?
Not really. Just a brief mention. I was wondering because ElfQuest, which has been going on by the Peonies since like 1978.
A long
something
time.
like
Yeah,
that.
something.
I was kind of wondering because they've been running this thing, the Final Quest, for a long time, but apparently the issue that's in here, which I think is like the 21, is like the next to last issue. So we will see then if this actually is the final
penultimate
quest.
issue.
Yeah, the
It says
penultimate.
on page 59 the penultimate issue in the Ultimate ElfQuest series.
So we'll see if it's really going to end. If this is the final quest. If so, you got one issue after this one that's in this book. So just wanted to mention that. A little indie book that's been going on, handled probably by half a dozen different publishers, but it's still going, and it sounds like it might be wrapping up. So
DC. And they continued the bad cover gimmick
Yeah.
for this month.
or is this kind of a repeat? In it, like
Yeah.
a reset. I don't know what happened there, but there's.
Well, I think it's just new titles, so I think it's different titles this time. But Sideways wasn't solicited last
Yeah, that's
month.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Terrifics, I don't think.
Yeah, so these are
no,
new
these are
titles
new.
using the same gimmick. And Dan, you had some info about
Yeah,
that,
so
didn't you?
right before we started recording, we saw where Bleeding Cool broke, that all these books are going to be delayed till the beginning of the year. how that, what that says about the future of the line, I'm not sure, but they're definitely putting a big push behind this now. I was kind of interested in a couple that we have this month, Sideways by Kenneth Rocafort, who I think is a great artist, who I think probably doesn't get enough credit. And we've got the Terrifics that with Jeff Lemire writing and Ivan Reese. Anybody? Any ideas?
Reyes,
Yeah,
I'm probably wrong.
That's probably closer.
Yeah.
But that's the book we've got with Plastic Man, Mr. Terrific, Phantom Girl, and Metamorpho. And I'm seeing online where Evan Shaner is posting a lot of Terrifics art, and I thought he was working on this book too. So I don't know if they're alternating artists with that, but he's been showing a lot of stuff on his Twitter account that looks really nice.
I didn't
But-
even recognize. I didn't even realize Jeff Lemire was writing this.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a plus for it too. Plus, if you're missing Fantastic Four and Marvel,
Yeah.
of course, that's what this is.
And
geared to.
what really interests me about the bottom of this crazy cover is that we have Tom Strong
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
indeed,
at the
yes.
bottom. So that's kind of surprising.
Has
That
he been in DC before? I
No.
thought he was like a
Yeah, he's
other
the
imprint,
ABC.
the Tomorrow's.
He's the America's Best Comics
Yeah,
that Alan Moore did through Wildstorm.
Okay.
So I guess they're really double whammy in Alan Moore at this point.
Yeah.
Tom Strong now too into DC.
Yeah, I don't know how that works out, but
Well, he's not
yeah.
writing anymore. Remember, he's retired now, so almost retired. So
But he can still grump.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And people will probably still listen to him. So.
Probably.
Yeah.
Page 75.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom King.
Oh yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Yep.
He's-
One shot. It's gonna have to be good.
Yeah, and he has been posting some art from this on his Twitter account
Oh,
too.
really?
Some of the original pages by Fabok that look really nice.
Yeah.
And Kelly Jones, who I love,
Mhm.
is doing a bonus story. I'm, side note, I'm in the middle of doing a Kelly Jones countdown of Batman covers on my blog.
I was
Oh,
gonna
okay.
mention
So,
that. Blog.
yeah, been
Following
doing some of that.
Fun.
And we're going to talk some more about Kelly Jones later in the catalog, too. Right now, too, on 77, we have a resolicit for Batman and the Signal #1, which I think we talked about on the first episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, there's apparently something going on with that book.
Page 78. Doomsday Clock. DC's event for the the winter, I guess, continues. So third issue of that.
Right. Yeah, and I like that variant cover on there. Batman's holding and reading through Rorschach's journal. That's pretty
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
because
hadn't noticed that.
I love just seeing Batman enjoying a cup of coffee, reading a journal by candlelight in a cave. That's action packed right there.
Good
I think
stuff.
there was another one too I seen. I don't know if it was for a different one, but it was Luther, and he was sitting in his office.
I think it's the second
That's second
issue.
issue,
Yeah, I think
second
it
issue.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Page 80.
yeah. The variants on that series are looking really
Yeah,
nice.
they really are. I love Gary Frank.
Oh yeah.
Page 80. What have they done to
I
Raven?
don't know.
Oh my gosh,
And
that is not
Wolfman's
Raven.
Still writing.
Yeah,
I
that's not
don't-
Raven.
I don't understand.
Dude, that's so Raven.
No.
Right there. All right.
I gave
That's
you
what
that.
that is.
Wow.
Nice setup,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
That was great.
Oh, that-
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the last series that he wrote was kind of a mixed bag too. I mean, I did like the art better. I mean, it was a little different, but yeah, I don't know what's happening here. But
Yeah.
Marv Wolfman writing a teenage girl drama book, I just don't know about that, but that's just me. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, Teen Titans when he was writing it
Oh,
was
yeah.
kind of teen drama, so
Well,
he
yeah.
could probably do it. But I just can't believe they changed her look that dramatically.
Right.
Yeah.
'cause
She had a pretty
it's
well-defined
unrecognizable,
look. Yeah, I had to look twice to figure out. I had to look at the title and still didn't think, well, who are they putting on the cover? Because that's not Raven.
Right. Yeah, very different.
I got up something on page 91.
Go.
Yeah, we got Batman White Knight #4 in this catalog. I know you guys talked about it on the last episode. I've read the second issue this week, last week, and it was really good. You guys do spoilers, or is it one of those things?
No, usually not in the previews. We usually try not to. Otherwise, we would be reviewing 4 this
That's
evening. But
right.
some
Yeah.
people haven't seen it yet.
It's still pretty good though. So
Yeah, I read that last issue too. That issue #2 that's out now. And it's really good. It's been a really strong story. It's definitely something worth checking out, even if you're gonna wait till the trade. It's really good. I'm honestly surprised by how good it is.
Yeah, the art and everything's really great too. So
I
I know
don't-
he's doing a lot of it. So.
I don't have anything to 125, so
Well,
let's go.
On 96, we've got Deathstroke Annual #1. I haven't been reading Deathstroke. It's written by Christopher Priest, though, so it's probably decent. But we've got a really nice cover here by Ryan Sook, which I really like. It's just Deathstroke in the sort of black and white superhero outfit holding his sword in front of him. And really the only color is in the gold hilt of the sword, but it's a really nice, kind of striking cover. On 97, we've got
on that Deathstroke. I didn't realize. Well, it's got Bill Sienkiewicz doing as a credit on the art.
Yeah, it's
inside
like-
the book, and Dennis Cowan. So.
yeah. So
Huh.
I'd assume Sienkiewicz is inking Cowan.
Okay.
On the next page, we have Dead Man number 3 by Neil Adams, which I haven't read yet, but it sounds like a mess.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing here at the top of the page, there's a little announcement here. Final cover will reveal a hidden message when tilted. Hopefully it says, "Don't read this book." But I don't know.
It just was a big knot symbol. Over
Yeah.
The so, yeah.
Last year.
Who
Yeah, they're really
knows?
hitting those gimmick covers hard again, aren't they?
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they're doing it with a Neil Adams miniseries.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't that seem like a weird choice?
Yeah,
Like,
the last ones were like a glow in the dark.
yeah, glow in the dark. Which
First
again,
issue
they've done that
was
for
just-
Dead Man stuff before.
Sure.
It kind of fits the theme.
Absolutely.
How does a hidden message tie
I
in?
don't know. Very Mad Magazine.
I got something on 98. The Demon, Hell is Earth number 3. I've been pretty psyched to get to start reading this at some point when it finally comes out.
Has number 1 not even come out yet?
No, number
Yeah,
1
I
hasn't
can
come
see.
out yet. I
Well,
think
well, you're obligated to 3 now already.
Yeah.
So, you can drop it.
so. I can't really say if it's good or bad at this point, but I'm pretty excited about it. I think this is the first Demon series we've got since Demon Knight from the
Yeah, from the
52.
early-
Yeah,
52.
which was a
So-
really good. That's like my favorite New 52 title.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I love that. Especially like the first 2 or 3 arcs was really good.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, it feels like it's some random party that's getting together for a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. So if that appeals to you, go order those trades from Campus Comics.
Absolutely.
Talk to Mike; he can pick those up for you. He can make it happen.
I can make it happen, and we always do 20% off trades and hardcovers. So keep that in mind.
I actually do have something on 100 I forgot about. On 100, it's actually not about the comic, but for those watching the Flash TV show, and this is almost for Mike Atchison as well, Ralph Dibny
Oh, yes.
has made an appearance in the last couple episodes. Now, it's not the Ralph Dibny that I think most people are going to like, but Ralph Dibny is now there, so just FYI. So
He's kind of I kind of picked up a vibe. They almost merged him and Plastic Man together a little bit. Like he kind of acts like him in a way. But I tried calling Atchison about it and talking to him. He never
Yeah.
answered. So I'll still have to
He's
get
he's
hold
done
of
he's
him.
done with you.
Yeah.
He's moved on.
They made him move out to Utah.
Yeah.
Stop stalking.
I've got something on 104. Harley Quinn 35 and 36. Apparently, I guess number 35 is going to be the first issue where Connor and Paul Miotti's no longer with her anymore. So I guess that they was with.
well, she's got a cover, but
Right,
Yeah, it looks
but
like she's continuing to do covers too.
yeah.
Yeah, I got to think she's probably making bank on that. So I can't see walking away from that right
Pretty
away.
nice gig.
Yeah.
Draw an image a month and cash that check.
Not that they're not good covers. They are. They are
Yeah.
great. But yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm not sure how the new book will be. I know we talked about it before. The new creative team they did some Catwoman from
Yeah,
the new 52.
yeah.
So
And they're the ones doing Ragman, I think. The new Ragman
Yeah.
story from DC. I think at least the writer, Thierry. I think he's doing that.
you know, I
Yeah,
just-
they're on the rag, man.
Yeah.
So do we count Mad Bat Harley as another variation for our friend Josh to look up and catalog?
I haven't even thought about it. That's for him to decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully,
we'll see.
hopefully the mood with them changing writers. Hopefully the mood of the book don't change because I think Connor and Paul Miotti really nailed it with that character.
yeah,
Made it
they've done a really
lighthearted
good job
and
for a long time
Yeah,
on that
it was
on
a
this
solid
series.
run.
4 or 5 years, I
Yeah,
think.
At
so.
least.
Yeah.
I mean, New 52 all the way to current rebirth stuff. So
And I'm disappointed because I've met both of them
Mhm.
at
At
Metropolis.
Metropolis last year.
And I talked to her, and the way they talked, this was going to go on for a little longer because, I was talking about how I liked their Starfire run, which was like 12 issues. And I was like asking what happened, and then she was telling me that she might end up in a Harley book, and I guess that's not going to happen. So I'm
Oh,
bummed.
yeah.
But oh well.
Yeah.
I imagine they've got other
Next time
stuff to
you
do.
just
Oh.
tell her how badly she disappointed.
No.
Anything for 125? Just go. All right. Well,
Jumping out.
125, just a new Justice League trade. I've been a little disappointed with Justice League in the rebirth. It's constant, cataclysmic stuff. At least for the first 2 or 3. But I still feel like that's one of the main books to read inside of Justice or inside of DC. So think about Justice League. One.
I did miss out on, I did have a little flag on 122 if you want to back up. Just for a second, a lot of people are unaware that the Future Quest stuff is kind of still going on. And
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
little- yeah, and they did a couple of people or a few people here really enjoyed the Space Ghost stuff that's going on in there. Really great art for, one thing. But now, somebody just the other day was mentioned, why haven't they done any more with Birdman? Well, apparently Birdman started with the issue that was offered last month. So it looks like we're actually getting the Birdman story here. So just wanted to mention that real quick to whoever it was that mentioned that.
Yeah, I've read a couple issues of that now. That Future Quest Presents is what it is, and it's been really good. The Space Ghost stories, I haven't read all of it, but it's really kind of streamlining some of the Space Ghost continuity.
Oh, yeah.
And it's sort of a really cool take on it.
Has Steve Rude been doing all the art on that Future Quest? Or
No,
is that just
I think he's like covers and stuff, and maybe this new
he's got art
story.
and cover on
Yeah,
number 6.
no, the
so-
first arc is Ariel Olivetti.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's how you pronounce the
Okay.
name, but yeah, he did some JLA stuff back in the day. He's got a really nice kind of painterly style that he does. It looks really
But
good
it
on
is
there.
It is Steve Rude-ish, I think.
I'll differ on that. Yeah, I think he has sort of a grittier style than Rude,
Gotcha.
but I mean it's its own thing. It still looks nice though, and it's still the same Space Ghost design. The sort of Alex Toth classic
Right.
look to the characters and all that's carrying over.
I got something on 124 here. I've picked up a few of these Scooby-Doo team-up books. Number 34 looks like we got Scooby-Doo gang teaming up with the Birds of Prey. I've gotten a few of these in the past, mainly the Harley Quinn ones where her and Ivy team up with the Scooby Gang. They're cool little one-shot books. Each one's its own story. I liked it, and I'm 23, but I think it's something a kid would like too, so they kind of get a good middle ground for kind of a fun little adventure thing. So
Yeah, I get that book, and overall I really like it. It catches a lot of flack online.
Really?
Yeah, like a lot of people like talk trash about Scooby-Doo Team Up, it turns out. But I really enjoy it. You know what? There's also a couple Harley appearances in there,
Yeah.
and those have jacked up in price now. So, pick these up
Yeah.
before, it's the unassuming kids book that nobody thinks about, but there's a Harley Quinn appearance, now everybody wants it.
Some of them kids' books are really good. I enjoyed some of those ones that were based off the animated Batman series and
Yeah.
stuff too. So
Yeah, there's always, there's been some really cool, fun stories in that Scooby-Doo Team Up, though.
for sure.
It's been a good book.
Page 126, a couple more trades. The second volume of Action, and then a second volume of Teen Titans, Rise of Aqualad. So, especially with Young Justice coming back, and Aqualad kind of featured prominently in that Young Justice series, so that might be something of interest for people who are looking forward to the season 3 of Young Justice if it ever makes it
Yeah.
out. So.
Well,
He's been in Teen Titans too.
Here's a question I got from Mike. So when somebody comes in saying, I want Action Comics Volume 2,
Right.
what do you get them? Is there any way to distinguish between the volumes of like the series of these now?
Yeah, they're pretty clearly marked, and what I have is, we can direct you because all the Rebirth trades that have come out, I've got those all in one rack up front, on the bottom. So if, I just try to ask, are you looking for the first, for the Rebirth, you looking for New 52, or are you talking about these hardcovers? I'm not 100% sure what you're, because I think this Action Volume 2, they're doing, that's kind of confusing to me. They're putting out the trade paperbacks, and then they'll go
Right.
back and do the
Deluxe.
deluxe edition hardcovers.
Right.
Which is in a hardcover and got a couple more issues in it. And stuff
And that's
like
backwards
that.
from how it used to be. They used to always do
Yes.
the hardcovers first, and
Yeah.
then they would do the paper. And now they're doing a lot of them. They're doing the paper first, and not even doing a hardcover. If they
Yeah.
are, then it's later on.
Yeah, DC is pretty much, unless it's an event book, they don't even like for all things Night of the Monster Man, they did a hardcover for
Right.
Justice League versus Suicide Squad. They did a hardcover first, but then they'll go to trade. Whereas these, it's kind of like Marvel's done for a few years. They'll put out the trades first, and then they'll go and put out like an oversized hardcover that collects more of it.
Yeah.
Is kind of what they're doing.
Well, I was just thinking too, with the Justice League movie coming out, I saw an ad. I can't remember where it was now. It was in some book, but it had check these out too, and they had Justice League Volume 1, and then another Justice League Volume 1. So where do I start with Justice League?
Right.
If I just come in and tell you I want Justice League number 1,
Mm-hmm.
do you just kind of talk to them, try to figure out what they're looking for?
Yeah,
that kind of thing?
Right now, my assumption is that they're looking for the current events.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, well, this is what's going on now. So that's where I'm
Right.
pointing, which would be the rebirth trades. You know,
So.
because that's probably going to fall more in line. You know, Aquaman's getting a beard and long hair again. You
Right.
Know, so it's probably going to fall a little bit more in line with what they're going to see in the movies.
Right.
So.
I guess we're all going to talk about 128.
I think so. Well, I think, starting from the beginning, if you want, we have the Batman Golden Age Omnibus Volume 5, where they're reprinting all the Batman stories in sort of a reading order that they came out in. And this is Detective Comics 113 to 132, Batman 35 to 45, and World's Finest 23 to 32. And I've, started getting these. I really like them. I'm never going to have these books for real.
No.
I can't afford Detective
Yeah.
27 and Batman #1. I wish I could. But, these are really nice, hardcover versions of these stories that you can read.
And then they just below that, they've got the trade paperback of Volume 4. So I guess that means that 5 will come out in trade soon. How long the delay's been.
Right.
And it's nice to see them giving Bill Finger proper credit
Yeah.
on some of these things. So
Yeah, and speaking of that, if you're out there and you have a Hulu account, there's a great documentary on there called Batman and Bill, and it gives you the story of how Bill Finger kind of got ripped off. You know what I mean? It did not get credit for a long time, and it's just a really good documentary. Check it out. It's really interesting if you have access to Hulu.
Does anybody know why they're reprinting the Batman Superpowers trade? I think this was the last story of the Batman Confidential book, and I remember it being okay,
Right.
but I don't remember it being anything amazing. And it doesn't tie into the superpowers we were talking about before,
Right.
with the toy line from the 80s. This is just like Batman with another team of superheroes, like early in his career.
are they just finishing it up? I mean, is it just,
Maybe
have they
have they
done everything
been-
else up until that point?
I couldn't say. Maybe that's the only reason I could think of to do this. It does seem like out of nowhere, though, but maybe they have been. It just seems like,
maybe it's just another way to kick back some money to Guggenheim.
Yeah.
Some of your TV stuff.
yeah, that's the thing.
I saw
But
that, and
like
I
I
was
can't,
well,
I can't,
interested.
I can't see it tying into anything coming out now or
Right.
anything like that.
At the bottom of 129, they've got the DC meets Looney Tunes trade. If you missed it, the Batman Elmer Fudd was really cool. That was probably one of the better ones out of that set. I read a few of the others. They were okay, but the Batman Elmer Fudd's definitely worth checking out if you find a copy of that or just buy this trade.
And right in the middle of that page too, how did I ever miss that Loeb & Sale did challenge of the unknown?
Well, because it almost got canceled before they
Okay.
finished it. This was like one of the first things they did back in the 80s,
Okay.
and it didn't sell well.
Okay.
And I think they may have truncated the run where they had to wrap it up quicker.
Okay.
I think is what happened back in the day. But this would have been like the first thing they worked on together
Okay.
before anybody cared about Loeb and Sale.
Gotcha. I was
Uh,
just like, how did I not heard of that? You know?
yeah. What Tyler was saying about the Looney Tunes trade was, though, too, I almost paid for the Batman Elmer Fudd special by itself what this trade costs. So if you're looking for a cheaper out for the Batman Elmer Fudd special, maybe just pick up the trade.
Page 131. Are you guys on 130?
Yeah, I got one.
Go ahead.
Just a couple things. It looks like I guess they're going to be reprinting the Neil Gaiman story. Whatever Happened to the Cape Crusader, which is a cool book. That's one of the first Batman stories I read, and I really liked it. And it looks like it collects some other stories as well. So that's something cool to check out. And then, of course, the Elseworlds Superman Volume 1 trade. These Elseworlds are kind of cool because some of those Elseworlds books are kind of tough to find. Like, if you go to conventions and stuff, you can find some, but I always have trouble finding certain ones. And they've been collecting these, and that's kind of neat. So,
Well, if you're just older and picked them up when they came out,
all right.
they're easier to find. But yeah, there are a couple of good ones in here. We've got the Superman Speeding Bullets, which is the If Superman Became Batman storyline, where he's raised by the Waynes. And then we've got Superman War of the Worlds, which was another good one, where it's Superman fighting the Martian invasion from War of the Worlds. That was a fun story that they did.
131. They're the series of one shots they did for Jack Kirby's 100th birthday. They're putting those all in trade. So Jack Kirby 100 trade paperback has some definite good talent and some some nice throwback to Kirby celebrating his 100. So
On 133, are you done?
no, I'm done. I'm done
Okay.
with DC at this point.
Okay,
yeah.
so on 133, we've got Teen Titans by Jeff Johns, Book 2 trade. This relates to a storyline that me and Tyler were just talking about, where the Titans go into the future and see future versions of themselves, and we have a Tim Drake Batman who, if you're reading Detective Comics right now, has come back into the current storyline, where this is a Tim Drake who's grown up, taken on the mantle of Batman, and uses Joe Chill's gun.
Oh wow.
And it is sort of things gone wrong. And it was a really cool storyline, and I thought we'll never see these characters again. They've just brought them back into the current storyline, the Lonely Place of Living storyline of Detective. But this book here is where you first run into that character. So if you've been enjoying that, this would be a good book to pick up.
Yeah, I got mine in my book. I got a little
Yeah.
star that says "Ask Dan about this."
Yeah, yeah. So that's what it was. That's what we were talking about.
I'll have to order
Before.
that one.
I just noticed on page 134 they're resoliciting the DC Universe Rebirth. They're the deluxe edition hardcover, and there's a little note there that says re-offered to coincide with Doomsday Clock number 3. So I guess there's going to be something in the third issue that's going to tie back to.
Yeah, that's
we'll
weird.
assume the
DC
comedians,
Universe
the comedians button or something there. So yeah. I'm through with DC now, I promise. So, yeah.
I think the last thing that kind of caught my eye in DC is the Batman black and white action figures.
Yeah, I know, right?
They've been doing the statue line for years now, and so now we're doing figures. And I feel like, are these repaints of previously available
Yes,
figures?
yes,
Because
they
it looks
are.
like it definitely looks like the Jim Lee one and the
Yeah.
Bob
Yeah.
Kane.
That's the thing. I don't think the black and white statue line is dead. I don't think. I
Right.
think they're just kind of giving. That's just another cheap way to do a little cash grab. You know what I mean?
Well-
Take some pre-existing figures. You know, give them a black and white. You know, and at an affordable price.
Right? Yeah. I mean, do you think that's part of the appeal? Is like this is more affordable, version of that? Like maybe I can't afford the statue. I can get the figure.
It does give them the look because they have the same base. If
Yeah.
you're familiar with that product line, you know, with it's the Batman logo cut in half, black and white, stuff like that. They do put them on that base, and I have seen some people even online commenting. The only thing I want these figures for is the bases. So you know, so I don't know what's the deal with that.
Yeah.
But to me, they look like repaints of
Yeah.
older figures.
And my thing is too. It's like I understand the concept for a statue. I don't know if I want that in an action figure.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can pose it and stuff like that, but I feel like
Right.
I don't know if I need, something like that style for just a figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never really been drawn to black and white action figures when they produce them.
Right.
I think maybe the Sin City ones would be the exception to that,
Yeah. that
but
makes sense.
I want full color action figures.
Back up one page to 142. These Artist Alley figures. At first I thought, DC's kind of gonna do their own take on pops. You know what I mean?
Right,
Pops,
yeah.
which are just everywhere. But but then you look at the $40 price tag as opposed to like $10, $11 for a pop. I don't know. And the kind of the one thing, the only
Yeah, they are-
inquiry I've had about these things is like have somebody interested in the black and white Batman. But you have to order four of the
yeah.
color ones for me to be able to order
Oh,
one of the
boy.
black and white ones. So come on, DC.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
it's just variants. Yeah, they are vinyl figures though.
$200 black and white figure. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
jeez.
Not only
So-
that, but what's it say? It's like 6 inches tall.
Yeah, I mean it's not that much bigger than a
That's
pop.
an
I mean
action
it's
figure.
cool. I like the designs and the fact.
Yeah,
that
it's a
they're
nice
giving-
style.
And they're giving different indie artists, and that's apparently what these Artist Alley things are going to be. They're going to give like a small indie book artist, let them do their take on classic DC characters and offer these figures. But well, we'll see. Yeah. But that was the end of like DC collectibles in this, so it's pretty
Yeah.
good on that this time.
IDW.
Yep.
I only got 2 or 3 things in IDW, so
They're doing their second month of Funko cover stuff. They did that earlier in the year, and it was some cool stuff. So if
the
you
Rocketeer one is kind of cool.
Yeah, like I think it's a reprint of stuff I already have, but I'm like, I'm on the fence about getting that Rocketeer one.
Yeah.
Just because you don't get a lot of Rocketeer stuff
No.
in general, which is a shame.
Right.
My big thing for IDW this month is the 4th issue of Frankenstein Alive Alive,
Oh.
the Frankenstein book that Bernie Wrightson never completed. And it looks like they're bringing on Kelly Jones to finish it out, who I think is a great successor for that. And there aren't too many artists I think will be qualified to kind of finish that book. but I feel like he's definitely up there, and I know he's a big fan of Wrightson and everything. So I'll probably check these out. I'm not sure. I assume this is the last issue they're doing. It just says exciting climax, so I would assume that's the last issue. There won't be a number 5. But it is kind of a shame that Wrightson passed or his health declined enough that he couldn't finish this book. So, and they are reissuing looks like a collection of the first 3 issues again, so you can get caught up on that.
Back on 164, I'll just throw it out because I like to do every single month. Ramen Micronauts, number 2. Okay, moving on.
I will gladly move on.
Don't crush my childhood. Don't crush my childhood. 183.
I've got one on 181.
Go.
There's a book here called Outtakes I kind of thought was interesting, and it says it's hilarious parodies of the most famous and recognizable properties of the big screen. It kind of looks like it's just a bunch of goofy takes on Batman, Darth Vader, Freddy Krueger and stuff. That kind of looked interesting.
Yeah, the picture at the bottom here looks like a mashup between Up and North by Northwest. So that's kind of funny. It does look kind of like a Mad Magazine kind of thing. Might be fun.
Yeah, it says here like when E.T. meets Men in Black.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of fun. But yeah, went past the second part of what I was talking about with the pages 170, 171. That's the Black Crown titles, which again is the new Vertigo, quote unquote, that they're trying. So, a couple of, the main one I'm hearing about is the kid lobotomy. Seems to be, sounds like a kind of a fun concept, so you may just want to check that out. Again, if you're missing classic Vertigo.
Yeah, and it looks like the Assassinistas, this one at least is drawn by Gilbert Hernandez.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a fan of the Hernandezes, maybe pick that up.
But he was loving Rockets, right?
Yeah.
182 and 183, 5 artist editions this month from
Yeah.
IDW.
Right?
I mean, those things are expensive, but Frank Cho, Dave Gibbons,
Are
Basil
these-
Wolverton, Frank Miller, and Will Eisner.
Are these all new ones? Are any of these reissues or
they're all new.
I
resolicits?
think they're all new.
Because
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're not giving them each a page.
Well, now the Wolverine, the Frank Cho one, Savage Wolverine, that's an advance because it says advance from
Right,
March.
okay.
But
Yeah, they're actually different things. The Savage Wolverine is actually an artist edition. The other 4 are what they're calling artifact editions.
Yeah.
And the difference with those is, as far as I understand, is the artist editions are complete stories.
Okay.
They're like whole story or whatever, page for page recreation of all the art in the actual size. Whereas the artifact edition, it's just different, certain pages, certain panels with some notes or maybe production notes or something like that in between it. So it's not the full story.
it's the sampler.
It's the
Yeah,
exactly.
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to bet there's probably legal issues and then probably just practical ones of can we get all this art again?
That's the big thing, I think, is
Because-
tracking down.
Yeah,
Tracking down.
because I
art.
can't imagine all of Frank Miller's Daredevil. It's probably easy to get at this point.
It's just cool to kind of see these books or these pages in their original size, as they were drawn. So
Yeah, it's interesting. The only one I have is one of the, I think I might have mentioned it before. It was one of the early EC ones.
Yeah.
To see that art blown up and just see the actual blue line, and all that stuff is just really cool.
For me too, it's nice to see whiteout
Exactly.
on these original art pages. I don't feel so bad about my stuff when I see that. Yeah, they make mistakes too. So
anything else on IDW?
no.
I'm good.
All right. Image. My first one's 186. That's the first page,
Yeah.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Go for it,
mine.
Go.
Yeah, 186. The long-running Robert Kirkman superhero saga Invincible is ending at issue 144. So that's
Yeah.
solicited in this. I think it started back in 2003, something like that. And he's wrapping that up at 144. issues.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up. I don't read it or anything, but I'm surprised I haven't heard of that this is wrapping up.
Yeah.
To me, it just feels like it came out of nowhere. Again, I'm not paying attention, but you
Right.
think you'd hear more.
I heard
buzz
it,
about
I was
it.
I was thinking I was hearing 150.
Yeah.
But obviously it's 144.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're saying here.
One thing that was weird about the Image Plus catalog this month, I don't know if anybody's looked through that, but usually Diamond is pretty good about what they put. And of course, I guess Diamond is maybe not directly responsible for the Image Plus one, but it's weird that they've got a catalog that has they're sending out with previews that has full male frontal nudity in it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's very cartoony.
I mean,
but
it depends
was
on the
kinda
kind of
surprised.
catalogs you get.
Yeah, but I was I'm not used to seeing that. Let me put it that way. So it was in the Image Plus this month. That was just kind of weird. So
Right.
Well, that's the plus.
There, okay.
Oh, boy. Yep, so that's kind of it. End of an era.
189, my book that I'm going to pick up just in case it happens to take off this month is Dissonance #1. I'll probably pick up a couple of issues of that. So out of the new #1 issues, that's the one that looks the most interesting to me. So
Who's that written by?
I have no idea. Singa Nugora is how I'm going to go with it. Art by Sami Basri. Yeah, I just, if you say things with authority,
Yes,
then people
that's-
won't question
people
you.
will
So,
be
yeah.
convinced for-
Yeah, so I can't possibly be wrong with those pronunciations. So.
Exactly. You seem confident.
On 199, we've got sort of ad for a spotlight on Ed Brubaker and Phillips' work. What caught my eye are the Velvet trades. I've read the first story of that, and I really need to get the rest of those because I really like that. It was kind of a fun take on sort of the James Bond thing, where it's basically quote unquote Moneypenny as the secret agent
An older, more mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it turns out she used to be a field agent that now works, in the office, and the sort of James Bond archetype of the story is killed, and she's framed for his murder, and so now she has to kind of go back in the field and avoid the other agents, but she's been around them all for so long, she knows everybody's secrets, and how to get away from these guys. And it was a really intriguing story, and so it really makes me want to check out the others. And I kind of keep my eye out every now and then to see if they do another one, but so far I haven't seen anything. But we have Velvet here, and then there's also the Fade Out and the Criminal Trades and everything that Brubaker and Phillips have done.
I don't know if you've read any. If any of you haven't read any Brubaker and Phillips, and you're not just totally locked into superhero comics, I mean, if you like crime, if you like horror, I mean, these guys are hard to beat.
Yeah.
They work so well together, and they work together so much that it's just one of those things. It's just like it's just to the level like some of it's not as good as the other stuff, but it's all good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just all good. Just some's not as good as the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this would be a good month to try some Brubaker and
Yes, it
Phillips
would.
because they've got 3 Image first, the Killer Be Killed #1, the Fade Out #1, and Velvet #1, which retail price is $1 on those. So you can try out 3 stories, for $3.
Yeah, it's
I
hard
mean,
to
you
beat.
probably won't be disappointed. Surely at least 1 or 2 of those out of the 3 you'll definitely like. And then you got the third trade of Killer Be Killed solicited this
Right.
month on page 198.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
so that's a series that a lot of people like as well.
Yeah. And again, you kind of got a good sampling there. You got horror, you got crime, you got action, adventure, spy stuff. That's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
they do. And it's really good stuff from them.
That's all I
Yeah.
had in Image. So you guys go on until you're done with
Me
Image.
too.
I got something on 223. Have you guys mentioned anything about Royal City in any of the recent episodes? I couldn't remember.
I can't
I
remember.
don't think so.
No,
Well, it says Royal City #9 is going to be coming out. I've been reading this story. It's really good. Jeff Lemire's writing it, and he does all the art and stuff too. It's kind of a cool mystery book, and it's got a lot of 90s like indie rock theme stuff going on. In fact, they're going to be doing a bunch of covers and stuff,
No.
paying homage to some of those indie rock albums of the 90s. So
Yeah, is that a Portishead cover?
I'm not sure.
That looks a lot like the Portishead Dummy album cover there on the cover B.
I know, I almost want to say one of them they did was Nirvana, which
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's done that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a cool book though. Definitely check it out if you like Lemire. And
Yeah, and he's one of those guys right now that there's several people that come into Campus Comics that they will buy something because Jeff Lemire's writing
yeah.
it. I mean, they'll try pretty much anything if he's writing it.
Well, and isn't he supposed to be the Hawkman thing coming up?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be doing that too.
Yeah, but he's
so-
the guy that's doing the Terrifics, which we talked about back in DC. So I mean, he's just one of those guys, and people really like his writing, and they will buy whatever he writes. So check him out.
Sure.
Anything else? Image? That it? Marvel?
So,
Everybody's got to pull out. Take out the other book.
Yeah.
starting off, we've got this Avengers No Surrender event.
Page 2.
I don't have a lot to say about this other than Mark Brooks is doing a lot of covers here, and he's a great artist who I think is pretty. I mean, he's doing some high-profile stuff, but I feel like he's still kind of underrated. I don't hear too many people talking about him, but I think he's done some great work over the
Well,
years.
and this series is going to be weekly for 16 weeks.
Yes.
So every
Oof.
week, so 4 or 5 books a month on Avengers if you want to keep up with that. Which that kind of stinks, but oh well.
Right.
I'm gonna get your money.
That's
Yeah.
right.
but it does have Jane Foster Thor on the cover of issue 678. So,
Until Thor's holding her body on the next one.
yeah, I'm gonna seriously, I'm dreading that day. I
Yeah,
seriously
oh, yeah.
am, 'cause that's been so good.
Yeah, I haven't even read any of that stuff. I'm just hearing you talk
Oh
about
my
it. I was
gosh!
like, that sounds
You
kinda
guys
cool.
start at the beginning, and it's really really good. So, page 16, maybe before page
Yep.
16,
Yep.
Ron Lim variant cover on Guardians of the Galaxy. Just throwing that out there. So,
Right.
all right, moving on.
Ron Lim.
On 27, we've got the new issue of Captain America, and the first issue of Mark Waid and Chris Somney's run just came out last week. I really enjoyed it. This one here that's solicited has Kraven the Hunter in it, who just appeared in the Venom Marvel Legacy version that I really liked.
Yeah.
Him kind of facing off against Venom, which I wouldn't necessarily put that together, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to see what Wade does with
I wish you could
Kraven
see the
here.
expression on Dan's face right then. It was like total disbelief that he said he liked that book.
Yeah.
Jump back to page 20. New Black Panther book. So that'll be coming out and continuing up until probably real close to the release of the Black Panther movie. So 6-issue series, Rise of the Black Panther.
So that was just an origin kind of story, I guess, with
I
that.
didn't read too much about it. But
Oh, we got Secret Origin of the Black Panther Part
There you go,
1,
okay.
so
So,
it's
yeah,
probably a
it's-
good jumping on point for new readers that
or
want to.
somebody who wants to learn a little bit more before the movie
Yeah.
starts. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, I've read some of the newer stuff. It's actually pretty good. So the regular series would probably be worth checking into as well. Okay, you have to let me talk about page 31. So go up till 31, but
Oh.
it's something different though in regard to 31.
No, I think we're all good.
Okay, so page 31, not only is it Thor, but we have a Rob Liefeld variant cover.
Oh boy.
And if you look real close at the cover, I don't know if this is his cover or not, but you see no feet on this cover.
Now, yeah, this is definitely the Russell Dowderman cover.
Okay,
This is
all
this
right.
is not the Liefeld
All right,
cover.
well, regardless, I
No.
thought it was there's
Yeah.
still no feet either way.
No,
but,
this is not him.
Oh, that's too
But yeah, that would be pretty good.
But there won't be any
You know,
feet
yeah,
on the
there will-
other
there will
cover
not be.
either. So
Right.
He'll swing the hammer real low or
Real low,
something
yeah,
to block
something
out
will
those
happen.
feet.
Pick up a lot of dust.
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. The head will be in the way like it is on this one. So yeah, no feet there. So
Okay.
I got something on 43.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I've been checking out Daredevil. It's been pretty good. I'm just blown away at this cover, though. It's Dan Mora, but it looks a lot like Ramita.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Well, that was my first thing. I was like, I guess is Ramita Jr. back? And then I was like, nope. But it looks similar to it. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I just, like seeing that. Well, the thing that caught me was the Kingpin as mayor. I guess I missed that someplace in the Marvel universe. So,
Yeah, I think that's with Legacy.
Okay, so that's fairly recent. So okay,
Because I think that's in the Daredevil that just came out this week. That
Okay.
we're recording this. It looks like Mayor Fisk Part 1 is the start of the Daredevil and Marvel Legacy.
okay,
So that must be the new story they're doing.
that should be interesting at least for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
That's,
I mean-
that's another book I'm reading in trade. Is
I mean, who
Daredevil.
thought like a villain could reach a high political office
Oh,
though
that's
in this
never- never
in this day and
happened.
age?
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty
No,
crazy.
never, never.
It's kind of a
Str-
prerequisite. isn't it?
Straight out of the House of Ideas.
Yeah.
I want to jump to sort of the middle here where
Before
they
we get there,
Okay.
we haven't talked about it, but Punisher as War Machine. It's been a few issues like that now.
Really?
So yeah, and I've been keeping up with Punisher here lately, and it's generally been pretty good. But this was kind of unexpected to me, so it's been like that for the last couple of previews issues. But we hadn't really talked about it, so
Right.
I don't know. Frank Miller in the
Frank Castle,
yeah,
War
or
Machine.
Frank Miller, Frank Castle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
let's give Frank Miller a War Machine armor though.
There you
Let's
go.
just see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's just try that out.
Help that
Okay.
guy out.
Yeah.
You may not survive.
So I'm going to jump to the middle of the catalog here where Marvel has their comics checklist for everything coming out this month. And I just want to point out they have sort of an announcement here. Want to make sure there's one waiting just for you? Talk to your local comic shop about subscribing.
That's right.
That's how you don't miss stuff, guys.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, it's the easiest way. You know,
Come
it's
in,
not
tell
that
us
big a
what you
deal.
want, Give me your list. We'll pull it every week.
I don't have anything till 103, so you guys go to 103.
Let's see, what do I got?
Speaking of Marvel, Dan, what is going on? Why are we revisiting Marvel value stamps? What's the end game of that? Do you know? All those Marvel stamps are in there. Are you supposed? I got the albums today. What
Oh, yeah.
happens if you fill up the album?
I've been trying to figure that out.
Okay.
Again, Plugging my blog. I've been doing reviews of some of the Marvel Legacy books, and I've been going in, and I always say what the stamp is. There, along with the digital code you get with the books, there's also a code for I believe it's supposed to be a vintage Marvel stamp, like a digital version of that you can get.
Okay.
But I'm not really sure what you get with the value stamps
Okay.
anymore.
I'm just like,
They just want people to tear up their books again. Is that what's
Yeah.
going on?
oh, yeah, the
And-
bane of the '70s collectors.
Well, the bane of the current line of books now is going to be, people are going to be asking, well, has the cover been pulled off of the digital code?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
now that's going to be the new Marvel value stamp for
Yeah.
moving forward. now.
Well, I
So-
brought this up in some of my reviews. This is how we get back at the fans of the future. We rip out the value stamps,
There you go.
and then they know our pain of the Silver Age guys cutting coupons out of the comic books.
Yeah, I understand. Okay,
from
I
back
just
in the
thought-
day.
I said, well, I got online trying to.
Yeah,
figure out
I've
what
been-
do you get?
I've been
What's-
trying to figure that out for a month,
Okay,
and I can't
all
give you a
right, well,
solid
thank you.
answer on that.
We're done.
On
It's
80,
probably a Marvel no prize.
Probably.
I'd be thrilled if I got a Marvel No Prize in the mail. I guess would a Marvel No Prize just be digital now? They just email it to you. Just email you an empty email.
Yeah.
On 84, we have the Marvel Gallery Netflix Iron Fist PVC diorama,
Get it.
and
I'm throwing up in my mouth.
this
right
looks this statue is very appropriate because it looks as bland as that show
It does,
was.
yes.
Exactly.
This is just a bleh pass.
No, there is more action in this statue
true.
They're
than
probably
there was in the Iron Fist
there's
series.
rubble here.
Yeah.
And more color.
And,
Yeah,
and
it's still a gray base though for
Yeah.
it.
That's true.
You got to have that.
he has some stomach definition in this
He
statue,
does.
which did
Yeah.
not exist in the series.
No. His eyes are much more intense.
Yeah.
And there aren't tears in them.
Well, to kind of coincide with the DC Universe Rebirth coming back out, we have the Marvel Legacy hardcover, which is a hardcover version of the Marvel Legacy special that came out that kind of kicked off the Marvel Legacy run. This one, though, is $40.
Wow.
So it collects the oversized Marvel Legacy #1 special, Marvel Legacy primer pages, which I guess they're referring to the 3-page origin stories.
Okay.
They're doing in all the books, which that's kind of cool, but how many of those are there? And then the Foom magazine, which is free and available at Campus Comics right now.
Right?
So it's like, really? Is this a $40 book?
Well,
You know?
Yeah, comparing the Marvel Legacy to the DC Rebirth first issue, I'm more of a Marvel guy, but the DC Rebirth issue was way better than the Marvel Legacy book.
Yeah,
at least I thought.
I agree with that, but I still really enjoy the Marvel Legacy
Yeah.
special. I thought it was pretty cool. And it got me interested into picking up some of the Marvel Legacy books, which is kind of the point.
Yep.
Right.
On 92, back to Punisher, we've got the Punisher Max by Garth Ennis Omnibus Volume 1, which those are some great books. It looks like this collects the Bourne miniseries, which is sort of Punisher back when he was still in Vietnam, and then the 2004 Punisher series, issues 1 through 30. It is explicit. This is not for kids, but it's really great stories. It is $100, though. So make sure you get yours at Campus Comics and get your discount.
There you go. Yep.
We will do 30% off of those hardcovers like that. The large, high-priced hardcovers, we do 30% off of those. And that is 864 pages.
Yeah,
I mean,
so, yeah.
So it's nice on your shelf. It's a lot of reading.
I'm surprised that going through your back issues that you didn't find a set of those back here someplace.
We have some really random issues, but we don't have a complete set of any of the
okay.
Punisher. It's good. People snatch those up.
Okay,
It's a
yeah.
really good run.
Yep.
It's definitely my favorite Punisher stuff.
And Ennis is back on. He's writing that Platoon now.
Yeah, he's doing the Platoon, which is again is sort of another Punisher Vietnam story, which I'm really enjoying right now. My last thing with Marvel is on 124. We've got a new printing of the Mystery Men, the Golden Age trade paperback. This was a mini-series they did that is about some sort of pulp era Marvel heroes, which we've never really had.
Oh, right.
It sort of takes place before the Marvel Universe kind of kicks off. It was just a really fun, sort of noir storyline set in the Marvel Universe. But, this is before Fantastic Four, this is before Spider-Man, this is before the X-Men. If you like some of the kind of pulp stuff that Dynamite does,
Exactly.
definitely you want to check this out. We've got some nice Patrick Zurcher art on it.
That's what I was going to mention about that David List. I think that's kind of his bread and butter. He writes
Yeah.
a lot of that pulp stuff.
Yeah.
Those licensed companies. Like he writes a lot of Shadow,
Yeah.
Spider. He writes that kind of stuff. So
Back on 103, we had, at least temporarily, a new character as Iron Man. He had Riri Williams, Ironheart, written by somebody we should probably talk about,
yes,
Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah.
So it's it's hard to go wrong with his writing, and I'll let Dan take over from here on that. So
Well, I mean, as we all found out yesterday, Brian Michael Bendis, after 17 years, is leaving Marvel for DC. I'm really excited about what that could mean. Hopefully, DC doesn't mishandle him coming over there. Hopefully, office politics and things don't get in the way, and we get some really good stories out of this.
It's just, at this point, it's almost just like hard for me to wrap my mind around that. You know what I mean? To me, Bendis is just so much Marvel.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? That it'll be interesting, but it's
Right.
going to be weird.
Oh
you know?
yeah. Well, I think I mentioned this somewhere else online already, but
it's okay.
it's a guy. This
Or
is a
blog.
this is a guy.
Where can you find your blog?
My-
If somebody wanted to go online and read it.
My blog is detective651.wordpress.com, and today I did post 5 books I would like to see Bendis do at DC, and one of them I think I can't see him coming to DC and not getting involved with Batman at some point.
Right.
For somebody who had this long of a run on Daredevil, how does he not get to Batman? Even if it's through Justice League or something, he's going to do Batman at some point.
Well, there are 4 Batman titles. Surely he can take one of them.
Yeah.
There's There's All-Star Detective, Batman.
Well,
and then
All Star's
All-Star.
gone.
Oh, is
All
it?
Star's
Okay.
done.
14.
But so we have Batman and
I just
Detective.
finished the first trade, so that's
Right.
why I'm behind on that one.
But I don't see why he doesn't get his own Batman book at some point. I
Tom
heard,
King and Brian Michael Bendis handling the Batman
Yeah.
universe. That would be amazing.
and like I saw an interview before with Frank Miller where he's talking about his time on Daredevil, and Marvel would shoot down ideas because they said that's a Batman story. So don't tell me someone who wrote Daredevil that long doesn't have some Batman stories laying around.
Yeah, wow.
Bring some of those ideas to light.
Yeah. And again, Justice League, surely he takes a crack at that. Again, Avengers, he shepherded that
Right.
book at Marvel for so long.
yeah.
How do you not put him on Justice League at some point?
Well, there's probably not a character that Bendis couldn't write.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, my dark horse pick, not the company, but for DC, would be Booster Gold. I would really like to see him working with Mark Bagley again, doing a Booster Gold book. I think they've got a good, lighthearted take on that character, where Ultimate Spider-Man kind of turned into a team-up book almost. I
and
could
Gold.
see Blue and Gold, and I can see Booster Gold traveling around different timelines, running into other DC heroes, and really giving Bendis an opportunity to write a lot of these characters.
Right.
And I think bring Bagley back to DC. I feel like his time there before was mismanaged. I don't know what happened. I don't feel like it went as well as it should have.
what did what all he did?
Well, he
I
did
don't
some.
remember.
He did a small run on Batman, and he did Justice League of America with James Robinson,
Okay.
which should have been an amazing book and fell flat somehow. So again, I don't know if it's office politics and egos and things getting in the way, but when DC snatched up Mark Bagley, that definitely should have been bigger than what it was. And I feel like bringing Bendis back, longtime collaborator, maybe there's a way to kind of redeem that.
108, another Punisher trade. So Punisher Volume 3 of which volume, who knows? But they've been fairly good here recently.
Is that just the newest series? I'm assuming
that's the latest series, yeah. So it's not it's not any of the end
Right.
stuff. It's just the current, run on the
pre
Punisher.
Marvel Legacy.
Yes, yeah. So, but it's actually been pretty good. I've been enjoying reading that. And then 119, the Mike Murdock period of Daredevil being reprinted
boy.
in trade paperback.
Yeah, I didn't even catch
So-
that's what that was.
Yeah, so to protect his identity, he all of a sudden gets a twin brother that nobody's ever heard about. So, but Mark Waid did actually bring that up in during his run on Daredevil as well. So they did kind of bring that back, and it's got Gene Colan art along
yeah.
with Jack Kirby art. So that's something to
Yeah.
Silver Age, some good Silver
Sure.
Age stuff. So that's all I got in Marvel.
Got some more posters in Marvel, and then an X-Men classified poster, which we're not allowed to see. It's
Oh,
top secret, y'all.
Blacked out there.
It's
Can't,
classified.
can't watch that.
Is that the
It's all
Ultimate
redacted.
Hawkeye, or is anybody looking for that?
If it's not Millar, I don't know if I'm interested
Yeah, I
in
know,
it.
right? Sacks, I don't
There's
know.
probably a cool story to be told there from that character's point of view, but
Right.
I don't know if I'm that interested in it.
I think the only thing that's affiliated with the original as far as creators is that one variant cover.
Yeah, that McNiven's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
I
of the
like
book,
shit on it.
Yeah.
page 244. Abstract Studios solicit for the first issue from new Terry Moore Strangers in Paradise.
Yeah.
That's something that I think a lot of people like. I'm not reading it, but it's something you might want to check into.
Got somebody here super excited
Yeah.
about that.
So get
Teresa,
on the
you know
ground
you
floor.
are.
Yeah, get on the ground floor of that with the first issue. Not sure why. I guess it's the 25 Strangers to Paradise XXV 25 #1. Has it been? I guess is it 25 years since the first
I'm
Strangers
not
in
sure.
Paradise?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, well, actually, it says that to celebrate its 25th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So-
there you go. Yeah, I guess I should
yes,
have read
Scott.
read the solicit. You know, don't just look at the pictures. What do you think this is? A comic book?
All right. Well, also here on 244, we have a new printing of My Friend Dahmer graphic
I saw
novel. This is to coincide with the movie they're making.
Yeah.
This is the story of the cartoonist Durf, who went to school with Jeffrey Dahmer in real life and was sort of an acquaintance of his. I've read a previous printing of this, and it is a really interesting story, and it's not as exploitative as you would assume something like this would be. It's not like they were super close. I don't get the impression from the story, but it is sort of like one of those things where it's like, what if somebody you went to high school with turned out to be a serial killer?
Right.
And that kind of thing. So it's weird shoes to find yourself in, but it's a decent story, and I am kind of interested in seeing the movie when it comes out.
Think you know a guy.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of what it is.
Is anybody reading anything from Aftershock? Just out of curiosity, because they've got some pretty good creators there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing Paul Jenkins and Phil Hester and Tim Seeley and
Are they the one that's doing The Damned? Is that Aftershock?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, maybe not, but I know there's a few people reading that Dark Ark, and they seem to be enjoying that. And kind of that was an interesting concept. I didn't read it, but the whole concept of that was at the same time that God commissioned Noah to build the ark, this high wizard came down and commissioned this guy to basically save all the dark creatures.
Yeah,
So, like,
metal.
yeah, so there's this ark out there with, mythical creatures on it and everything like that. So people are there's a few people enjoying that.
I don't have anything till
It might be
281.
281.
281. You think I think
No.
281?
No, I'm all the way up to.
Well, it's kind of hard to pass up a cheap comic book. So,
Oh, yeah.
Aspen Comics Legacy. It's a one-shot. It's got some Michael Turner art in it, and it can be yours for 15 cents. So, yeah, dig through the seats of your cars before you come into Campus Comics.
15
On
cents.
the yeah.
And it'll be some pretty art. if Nothing
Yeah,
else,
exactly.
Michael Turner stuff.
There's been a ton of Michael Turner variant covers and stuff. I guess they're just going around and finding people with commissions and getting their commissions and then doing variant covers with this
Yeah.
stuff. Because
Well, I think, didn't Michael, I've heard this somewhere, might have been somebody here, but I feel like Michael Turner drew a lot of stuff before he passed, didn't he? With sort of that
Like,
idea in
knew it was
mind.
coming and
Yeah,
kinda-
Yeah, like he'd
okay.
been sick for quite a while, and I think he knew, like, hey, I can do these real quick, and maybe my family can make some money or something like that. Don't hold me to that, but I believe that's
I
the
think
story
I-
with
So
some
that,
of
that
that.
makes sense. Like I said, I was assuming they
know.
were finding people that commissioned work and they were
Yeah.
just getting the rights to it or
Yeah,
buying
they
it from them.
could be some of that.
Cranked out a bunch
Yeah.
of stuff and
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah, kind of pin-up
archived
kind of
it.
stuff that wasn't real specific.
Yeah.
My next thing's 298.
On 296, we've got the WWE Royal Rumble 2018 special. One of the best pay-per-views of the years, guys. Royal Rumble, always good time. What makes this issue stand out for me is we have a story written by the phenomenal one himself, AJ Styles, and it looks like this story is about his debut at Royal Rumble, where he came into the WWE. It was sort of a surprise during that pay-per-view, but if he is actually writing this like from his point of view and things, this could be a really cool story to kind of check out, especially if you're a fan of AJ Styles.
If you like wrestling.
That's right, not wrestling, wrestling.
Wrestling.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so page 298, you can buy here a San Diego Comic Con exclusive. Think about that for just a second.
But now, what is that exclusive of?
Exactly. Well, this is previews. This isn't San Diego Comic Con. I'm a little confused. So,
Right.
moving on.
Yeah, but the variants that Scott's talking about are the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
they weren't worth mentioning.
Well, the only thing again, I'm not a big Power Rangers guy at all, but I did think it's interesting. They're kind of doing an homage of Jim Lee's X-Men #1 from the early '90s, where they have the 4 different covers that make up the image with all the characters spread across.
Oh, yeah, I see that, yeah.
So
And again, those covers are that Dan Mora that you were talking about that were doing that Daredevil cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same guy, so the art's kind of cool. That's clean art.
if you're into Power Rangers.
Yeah, right. Again.
326.
There is that.
You
318.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still after. It's cool.
Yeah,
Go
deal with
ahead.
that. So from Chapter House Books, we have some more of their Captain Canuck books, and we talked before about how Jay Baruchel was writing one of those issues. I actually found out the other day, Jay Baruchel is now Chief Creative Officer for this company.
Oh, really?
So he's apparently really involved in these books. And they announced recently, too, that for their superhero line of books, they are going to keep their prices at $1.99 an issue.
Really?
Oh,
And now that's not everything they're doing, but for their superhero universe, it's $2.
Right.
And they're saying, they're not doing that many books, so every month you could basically get their entire superhero line for $6 to $8.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Newsprint, I wonder. I saw it in some small press.
I
It's
think
kinda
that
cool.
I think that's somebody else.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know how they're going to recoup that
Right.
price. How to make that profitable. So it could be. But I thought that's kind of a neat idea if you just want like a self-contained kind of small world to check out, where you're not having to buy 50 books a month. For me, back in the day, that was part of the appeal of Marvel's Ultimate Universe. Back when there were only 4
Yeah.
regular books. I've always been a DC guy, so I never get that much Marvel, but those were always good quality books.
I thought there were 8. I thought there were 8 new universe titles. Cause
Well,
they're
no,
like 50 cents
well,
a piece,
no,
like
the
you
new
could
universe
add
there
them
probably
all.
was, but I meant the Ultimate
Oh, I'm
Universe
sorry, you
that
said
Marvel
Ultimate.
did.
I heard
Yeah,
new universe. Sorry.
but yeah, that was part of the appeal. Again, it was probably sort of the same deal with New Universe though too, where it is a select line of books. That's all there is.
Yep.
So that might be something to check out if you want to see some new Canadian superhero stuff.
That's not Wolverine.
Yeah.
So 326, Battlestar Galactica versus Battlestar Galactica. I am only even talking about this because Peter David is the writer for it. So it has a shot of being interesting. So somebody can do something with that line.
Is that a John Cassaday cover?
Yes, it appears to be. There's 8 variants for this
Ooh,
book
boy.
Oh
as
my
it
gosh.
comes out. Yeah, several of the action figure variants that are available there. There's also a blank cover for that. I was at Derby Comic Con in Louisville a few weeks ago, and Peter David was there, and I had him sign my Future Imperfect books, and I'm a little scared for comic book conventions right now because Peter David's there, Jim Steranko's there, Mike Grell's there, Bob McLeod is there. I'm there on a Sunday morning, and none of them. Well, Steranko has 3 people in line at his table.
Wow.
Peter David has nobody. Bob McLeod has nobody. Mike Grell has nobody at their tables talking to them. Or
That's
even interested.
insane.
It's
crazy.
I talked to a guy who was there before. He said he was pretty sure Peter David was taking a nap at his table the day before because it was just.
Wow.
I mean, it's like what's going on? So
Probably-
it's just crazy.
Over 10 years ago now, I was at a smaller convention that Jim Steranko was at.
Mhm.
Couldn't get near him.
Yeah.
Line was probably out the door. I'm not exaggerating. It was a smaller convention, but I'm thinking that line was probably out the door at some point to meet Steranko. It was a line all day. He was super energetic, engaging with people.
Yep.
I wanted to get some stuff signed. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, he
I'll
was-
just be here all day in line.
He was fun to talk to, but there was nobody there.
That's
So
that's
it's-
crazy.
There's something.
That
there's
would have been
something going on.
would have been a good con to be at, I guess.
Yeah.
To meet some guys.
Yep.
But yeah, that's insane.
I'm good till 351. So
I got something on 334. It looks like Dynamite's putting out a hardcover of George Perez Storyteller. I thought something like Atchison. He enjoys Perez's art and stuff. It says it's a all-inclusive retrospective of 200 pages of incredible art with information about George's career, not available anywhere else. So, for those that don't know Perez, he did the Crisis stuff. And
Those that don't know Perez aren't paying attention.
yeah, they're not. Yeah.
Wake up.
Yeah, back on 330, this is just kind of a weird thing for me. We've got a collection of Swords of the Swashbucklers,
Yeah.
which I'd never heard of till about a month ago when I found a bunch of them back here in the back room.
Really?
I've never seen this book before, and now there's a new collection of it coming out.
Well, it was epic. I'm pretty sure. Wasn't it? Then it wasn't originally on a Marvel Epic. title?
Probably had to be something
Yeah,
like
so it's
that.
kinda like one of the earlier creator-owned stuff.
Yeah, but
And,
Bill Mantlo writing it.
so what you're saying, Dan, is come and buy all these before you buy them.
Yeah.
And you can, you can definitely get it for less. I'm quite confident. What's the price on this
This is
one?
$49.99.
Yeah, I'm sure
Oh,
you
yeah.
could pay half of that
Yeah,
or less if
to
you
get the
wanted to pick up
original
some back
issues.
I don't know. I may be speaking out of place for Mike, but
No.
he can probably set you
Yeah.
up there. So
All right.
On 339, I don't really follow Vampirella, But we have some interesting variant covers here. We have a takeoff of Edward Hopper's Nighthawks here, where it looks like, it's hard to see because the image is very small, but it looks like we have a body next to her on the countertop.
Oh,
But again, this is a painting that's been parodied, homaged countless times, and it's not the first time it's been on a comic cover either.
No.
So I just thought that was kind of a neat thing.
351, Stain trade paperback from 451 Media Group. I read the first issue of this, kind of enjoyed it, so I'm definitely going to pick up the trade on this one. Some sci-fi fantasy story. So you're into science fiction fantasy. Basically, you've got an assassin who has some odd disease. That's where the stain comes from. That leaves stuff on their face or on their body where they've been infected by it. But I thought it was pretty good, so I'm definitely going to pick that up. Something you might consider.
I got something on 353.
Go.
It looks like Heavy Metal. They're going to be putting out a Tarna book. I haven't checked it out yet. The first issue hasn't been released or anything yet, but this is something for me as a kid. I saw the Heavy Metal movie and stuff. My dad would sit around at home and he'd be like, movie day. So we'd watch Heavy Metal, and Tarna was always, that last bit of the movie was always cool to me, and it's cool to see they're going to give her a book. And I know that first issue had like 2 Alex Ross covers that are really cool, so I'm excited to check that out. So if you like Heavy Metal and you like Tarna, that might be a book you want to check out.
I am done till 521, so you guys
Well,
go for a
on
while.
361, we've got Pacific Rim Aftermath #1. Looks like it's a mini series, sort of a prequel to the new movie coming out. Feel like there should be more hype about that
yeah.
in here, but I really enjoyed the first movie. I'm looking forward to the new one. I'll probably check this book out, get some more backstory. Above that, we've also got the 50 freaking years of the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Yeah.
So,
People coming in looking for underground comics.
yeah, there you go. $13, good price there. So, if you want to check that out. On 386, under paper cuts, it looks like they're reprinting some of the Neil Gaiman books from Techno Comics from the 90s. We've got new collections of Mr. Hero, Lady Justice, and Technophage. Why they're doing this, I have no idea. I enjoyed the Mr. Hero book back in the day. I thought it was a cool concept. But again, these are just concepts of Neil Gaiman. He kind of came up with something, and then other creators kind of took over the books.
He didn't have a whole lot of credits in the on those books, other than having his name on the title.
Yeah, like his name's above the title. And then, like Brian Talbot, though, wrote the Technophage book, too. These were all sort of their own kind of world. But, I enjoyed them back in the day, but I'm really surprised that they're reprinting them now. I'm not sure why. Maybe they just were able to grab them and just want the name recognition of Gaiman on it. What I'm interested in with the Mr. Hero one was, though, there was a volume of it, and then they relaunched with the new #1, but then that's all there was of that series. There was never an issue #2. So I don't know if that random first issue from the second volume's included in here. It doesn't really hurt anything if it's not, but just sort of a weird footnote to that.
Back on 381, I was just curious, Mike, do you have anybody that comes in the store that says if that Rick and Morty comic's any good?
I got one guy that buys it, you know what I mean? And he seems to be fine with it. I think it sounds like, according to him, it's pretty in tune with the show. It's the same deal, I guess it's solid, so if you're a fan of it, and you just want more Rick and Morty for some reason, because he picks up like this, he picks up the Invader Zim, he picks up Steven Universe, and he seems totally happy with all of them. Not great sellers, but if you're fans of that stuff and you just want more, it's a great comic.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Well, there's also a pretty big gap in between the seasons coming out too, isn't there? Of Rick and Morty,
Yeah.
like you got some pretty long dry spells in there.
I mean, between the first season and the second season, it was like maybe a year or something like that. And then season 2 and season 3, it was almost like 3 years. Everybody
Yeah,
was knowing
so
what was
these
going
might
on.
help hold you over in the interim.
Yeah.
At Derby City Comic Con, Kyle Starks, who's credited as the writer-artist on that Rick and Morty comic book, whenever I went by his table, he had at least a dozen people standing there waiting to talk to him and get stuff signed. And
Yeah.
again, this is the same time where other
Right,
comic
right.
creators know the 3 people, and yeah, so it's a world turned upside down right now.
Seems to be a younger crowd.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
On 389, we have a new printing of Judge Dredd Origins trade. It is what it sounds like. It's an origin story for Judge Dredd. That's a pretty cool story. It also has the fun thing of avoiding showing his face throughout. They hunt down Judge Dredd's father. They never show his face because he has the same face as Judge Dredd. So it is sort of a fun thing to just kind of see how the artist kind of dodges that throughout. But it is a cool story, too. And I don't get a lot of Judge Dredd stuff, but I really enjoyed that story. And it looks like we've also got a Dredd Urban Warfare hardcover, which I think is in continuity with the last movie, the good Judge Dredd movie that we got a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, is the Urban Warfare a play on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, on 392, we don't go into a lot of manga here that's not kind of big in the store or anything, but we have Giant Spider and Me, A Post-Apocalyptic Tale, Volume 1. And the solicit reads, when you live with a giant fuzzy spider with a heart of gold, post-apocalyptic life isn't so bad. Nagi is a young woman living alone in the mountains. She longs for someone to share her days with, and that's when she meets the giant fuzzy spider who will soon become her dearest friend. A tale of unexpected friendship in a distant future. That sounds interesting. Yeah. But again, that sounds kind of interesting. That might be something to check out, especially if you like manga. On 409, from Titan in sort of their hard case crime line, there's a hardcover called Babylon Berlin that says it's now a TV series. I haven't heard of this. It looks kind of interesting, though. It might be something worth checking out.
It says on Netflix. I haven't seen it on Netflix.
Yeah, maybe something that hasn't come out yet, I would guess. It says the autumn's hit TV show. Yeah, it's November. How autumn does it got to be?
Technically, it's not winter until December. So
I guess, but I don't know. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's not that Netflix show. On 424, we've got Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe. And I think this is sort of a tie-in to, I think it's a web series they're doing, right? Because I thought
be Ninja K.
It's Ninjak. Thank you very much. I'm not enough of a Valiant fan at all to start saying Ninja K.
Not worth the extra syllable.
Yeah. But I thought I don't know. I don't keep up with Valiant that much, but I thought I'd heard that was supposed to be a movie, or that they were going to get some more movie properties going. But yeah, I think web series is what it's going to be. So it looks like, I assume this is an adaptation or a tie-in of that, so it might be something fun to check out if you're into Valiant. The only other Valiant thing of note to me is Quantum and Woody #2 has a Mike Allred variant cover, which looks kind of cool. I'm just a big Mike Allred fan. On 449, under Zenoscope, who I don't think we've mentioned at all on here so far.
There's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, I know. But we've got Belle Beast Hunter #1, which is a very Batman Huntress-esque looking version of Belle, who I guess hunts beasts instead of falling in love with them. Maybe this is the aftermath. Maybe this is after the honeymoon.
Yeah, there you
and
go.
now she hunts beasts. But I just thought that was sort of an interesting thing there.
Maybe a beast killed her beast.
I think that's all I have in the comics section of the catalog.
I'm still waiting for 521 to get here. So,
All right.
You guys keep going until you get there.
In the sort of merchandise section, Graffiti has got, more shirts coming out every month that don't fit me.
I feel your pain.
There's a couple Darkseid shirts, and one of them is the cover to the Kirby 100 Darkseid special, which has Darkseid sitting on a throne with sort of an Omega symbol around him in the negative space, but it looks like they've cut out the walls from this design, so you don't kind of get the same visual play that you get on the regular cover.
Yeah.
I understand how t-shirt design works, and you can't just necessarily make it a square, so you have to figure out, creative ways to kind of end the image, but I feel like they're really kind of shooting the design in the foot by doing this. I feel like there's a better solution to that. I feel like you probably could just fade it off the walls and that kind of thing, because I don't think it's nearly as interesting as the original cover was on there. On 486, for fans of The Last Jedi that's not out yet, there is a Porg tie, which is sort of a pattern of Porgs, little creatures from the Star Wars trailers right now, because the movie ain't out yet. But if you want a real classy looking porg tie, here you go.
And then got the cufflinks to go.
Yeah,
with it,
you got
too.
that too.
Got some $4.92, and if you're a fan of the Justice League movie look of those characters, they're doing a complete line of the DC Gallery figures. You know, those are the fairly nice for what you're paying, $45 vinyl statue
Yeah.
figures.
Yeah.
Particularly, to me, you know, it's just like the Batman looks great. Doesn't even look like it necessarily has to be the movie Batman. You know, the Flash looks great. They all look nice. The Aquaman looks to like have a. I can't tell if that's actually like a translucent base.
Yeah,
with water, or if
surely
it's
it
just a
is.
base of paint. But yeah, I mean, all pretty cool designs, and again, you know, the price
Yeah.
is right on this.
And I'm not crazy about that Flash costume. And again, we're saying this before the movies come out, but I
Right.
kind of like that statue. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of a nice design with sort of the energy, you know, the Speed Force coming off from there.
Got the paradigm.
Looks
too.
yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I've bought quite a few of this stuff from Diamond, and it's all good quality stuff for a
Where'd you pick
decent
that up
price.
at? Where did you buy that stuff at?
All here.
Okay.
All Campus Comics.
Campus Comics.
Yep.
On 495, we have some of the Batman classic TV series merchandise, and we have the Shakespeare Head Bust Bank, which Mike got some of those in a while back.
Quality too. They
Nice
look
guys.
really
It's
good.
very cool.
Where we took that to the EclipseCon at Carbondale this year,
Uh-huh.
caught quite a few people's
Right.
attention.
And actually, at Scott EarCon, that ended up being the couple that won the costume contest. That's what they spent their prize money
Oh, well,
on,
cool.
was to buy that Shakespeare head bust bank.
Yeah, what were they doing with it?
Yeah, they were going to use it as a prop for next year's costume contest, where they were coming as Alfred and I can't remember Aunt
Harriet.
Aunt
Oh,
Harriet.
okay.
Yeah, they're going to tote that around as the prop, is what they were saying. I don't know why I blanked on poor Aunt Harriet.
$4.98. Just throw that out there. They got the John Bernthal Punisher statue, and of course that
Yes.
Netflix series starts a week from this Friday.
Is it really?
Yes, November 17th. Looking forward to that.
Right.
Nor I'll be that weekend.
Yeah.
Seeing Justice League?
That too. Yeah. I'll come home from Thursday night seeing Justice League, and then just stay up and watch the first couple episodes
Right.
of
Yeah.
Punisher at about 2 a.m. in the morning.
Sounds like a good weekend.
It
On
does.
510, we have the 112 Collective Sending Night Batman figure, which we talked about last time, I think. And in this catalog, we have a blue variant of it.
Right.
So if you want a more classic-looking Batman, you can get that too, I guess.
517. Looks like they've got some new Kiss Destroyer 8-inch
Oh, yeah.
figures. I haven't really been a fan of a lot of those that they've come out with, because they've kind of, what it is they're kind of trying to bring back the vibe of them
Migos.
Migos.
Yes.
And then they decided, well, why don't we try to do the other Kiss costumes? And some of them look good and some of them didn't look so good, but these actually didn't look too bad.
Is it just they're not translating to the style well, or is it like a production thing?
For
Where
me, it's always either some of the costumes look bad or it's the face looks kind of derpy.
Yeah.
It's just, it's one of those things.
So they did capture the look of Migos. Because that's kind of the charm of it. Let me tell you, people, don't know how good you got it with the figures you have these days. I mean, the stuff we had to tolerate when I was a kid,
Oh,
in
yeah.
my mid-50s. And
Of course.
as long as it barely looked like them, it was fine.
Of course, the difference is the stuff that we played with as a kid would stay together for a while.
Yeah.
And these toys now, they break. You look at them wrong in some of these toys,
Yeah.
especially like the McFarlane stuff.
Oh, yeah, they look great.
They look great, but you can't do
They're
anything
not
with
to be
them. Yeah.
posed.
521. If you are interested in Star Wars merchandise, there's
What?
like 8 straight pages
No.
of toys and masks and lightsabers
I
and
don't know if that'll ever catch on.
yeah,
So,
nah, it's a
yeah.
flash in the pan.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the only thing I wanted to bring up was on 526. We have the vintage R2D2 life-size monument, and this is sort of a
Hey.
1-to-1 scale of the old school R2D2 action figure. Unfortunately, it is $3,200.
So what would be your discount?
Yeah, what's
at
my
Campus
discount?
Comics for that one? So
Look at what I'm paying for it.
That's more
at
than
least
my.
10%.
Maybe,
Probably.
Yeah, so I could save you $320.
For the record, that's more than my first 3 cars.
Together.
Yes.
I seen one the other day that looked, like the movie one, and it even had a refrigerator built into it, and it was probably cheaper.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't understand that.
some of the stuff in the back of the book is just absurd.
I know.
you
It's just, is there really a market for
Yeah.
this, or is it just to say you can get it? You know.
These have been out for a while, but they have them in here now too. The Ninja Turtles WWE figures, which mashes up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with different WWE wrestlers.
Oh, that is
Boy.
good.
I think they're kind of fun designs. We've got a Michelangelo, Roddy Piper, Leonardo Finn Balor, yeah, Raps the Rock, and then we have Donatello as the Ultimate Warrior. So just a really random thing, kind of going back to sort of the old school Ninja Turtle figures they used to do though too. They did like Ninja Turtle Star Trek mashups back in the day that Playmates did, and some other various things, you know, sort of classic Universal monsters and different things like that. On 530, I don't really keep up with it, but they've got a lot of statues here for the Overwatch game, which I haven't played, but these are some nice looking statues. If you're into these characters, there's some really nice options here.
They just released an Overwatch. They did a bunch of free digital Overwatch stories.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they just released all those. It actually came out this month. All of those single issues as a hardcover trade.
Oh, did
And
they?
you could possibly still get those from Diamond if there's something that you're interested in. It might still could be ordered from Diamond. So check with Mike on that. I don't know that it's sold out. I guess it's possible, but I would suspect if it did sell out, there'll be a second run that'll come pretty soon.
On 531, we have the Wonder Woman God Killer sword prop replica. So for all you hardcore Wonder Woman cosplayers out there, for only $250.
And something else you couldn't take to a convention with you.
Yeah, no kidding. So 30-inch long by 7-inch wide, heavy-duty replica. So if you want to go kill the wrong, soldier, there you go, folks.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray. Deal with it.
Yeah, 536. Actually, they're so late getting some of these things in the catalogs, but the Hellboy pops are there. They're pretty cool, and actually, we've got the first shipment of those are actually just coming in next Wednesday. So I think we're getting the Blood Queen and Rasputin and maybe Liz. We're not getting any Hellboys or anything, but they're coming out right away.
On that same page too, we've got some. Looks like, I assume it's reissues of some of the DC characters. It's sort of like the new 52 versions, and I'm not 100% on this, but I know in some of the hardcore kind of Funko Pop collector crowds, Aquaman is supposed to be pretty difficult to find. So there's a new Aquaman being produced. If that's one you're looking for, might be a good time to pick up one of those.
On 540, my bad. The Rick and Morty portal gun. I've got one of these ordered. I've seen some of the costume shops and stuff. They've got kind of a cheaper version, and it's not as good a quality. And I haven't seen this one yet in person. I'm still waiting for it to come in. But Funko makes it, and it looks really good. It's got all sound effects. It lights up and stuff. So if you're into cosplay and you're looking to do a Rick Sanchez cosplay, that'd probably be a cool thing to pick up.
But that's too much, only $15.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's still pretty affordable.
Yeah. My goal is I'd like to buy it and make a custom base for it at some point. So,
And make it functional.
yeah. Maybe later.
Page 541. I didn't notice these T-shirts the first time through, but they're advertised as super cute tees. So they're basically, it appears to be like T-shirts for like younger girls. And they have like Wonder Woman jumping rope. They got Chewbacca with a hair dryer. They're kind of funny and humorous. They'd probably be pretty unique. So if you're looking for a unique gift for a younger comic reader, it might be something to check into. Page 541.
Got some Groot and some Harry Potter, because that's Luna, right? Yeah.
On 548, we've got part of the reason I don't really do custom action figures anymore, because everything gets made.
Yeah.
We've got some Star Wars. They're called movie realization action figures. We have samurai versions of Jango Fett, Darth Maul, and a Shadow Trooper.
There was a Samurai Captain America a few pages
Yeah.
back.
I just like, okay.
Yeah.
And I know, I can't think of his name right now, but I know there's a action figure customizer online who has done a lot of series like this with Star Wars characters. He's done sort of samurai, steampunk, and war, kind of different versions. And, it used to be that was the only time you would see something like this. Now we have an officially licensed version of this you can pick up. Again, these are pricey figures, but if you're, customizing them, it's probably going to cost you about the same. So, but just a weird kind of thing.
Back on 544, I was just going to mention the Kotobukiya stuff. They got a cool Batman, Rebirth Batman. It kind of looks like the same sculpt and stuff as the Batman they put out a few years ago. But yeah,
This is the 1/10 scale, though, right?
yeah, it is 1/10 scale, which these are great. I don't know if it comes with the magnetic base, but I'll probably be getting one of these. Kotobukiya's, their stuff's usually pretty nice. And if you're looking for decent, really good looking statues, I mean, they're affordable, usually only about $60. But you get like the Punisher up there, it's like $319,
I was gonna
and
say,
it's
that's nice, and then I saw that price. It's like, ooh.
yeah, that's like that's a little pricey per like PVC, but
Yeah, well, this wouldn't be. That's their fine art line.
Right.
So it's porcelain and everything like that.
but if you're looking for 1/10 scale figures and stuff like that, you can't beat it, and they're all cool. My Bat family I've got's really nice, so.
On 565, if you're really into Sherlock, we have the 221B Baker Street entrance 1/6 scale diorama. It's basically the door to Sherlock's house. For only $250, it could be yours.
It's 21 inches tall.
Yeah.
Does a real door even cost that much? Like,
Yeah, how much would it cost to just make a
Make it,
door?
yeah.
Make the
Fact,
entrance.
Some foam core and make it all.
check it up on
On 578, we have a couple vinyl figures of Basquiat and Keith Haring, famous artists who have passed away. Seems like really random things here, but somebody must have figured out the rights to produce these. So if you're fans of those artists, you can pick those up.
We're running out. Don't-
597.
One thing on 601.
597, I think is the last I've got. We have a Doctor Who TARDIS console lava lamp, which I thought was kind of a
That
neat,
is
kind of
kinda
fun
cool.
prop. Just under $50. Kind of neat looking. If you need a lava lamp that's Doctor Who themed, here you go. I think that's it for me.
$5.99. We've talked a couple of times about some of the collectibles boxes. I think there was a Black Panther
Oh, yeah.
box
Oh, yeah.
in like the Marvel section.
Yeah.
And if you missed out on the Harley Quinn one, you got a chance to pick up the Harley Quinn one. It's offered again on page 599. And then page 601, it is something that caught my eye, was the Dark Crystal board game. I don't know why, but that was always a movie that I liked as a kid. So I'm sure this game's probably awful, but if you're a fan of Dark Crystal and just the completist, it might be something that you want to think about picking up.
Does anyone know anything about these story cubes? Looks like another kind of dice game sort of thing. I've never heard of these before, but they've got a lot of licenses they're doing here in this catalog. Looks like we've got Doctor Who, Adventure Time, Batman, Scooby-Doo, Looney Tunes, and Moomin.
I would assume it's something probably like what the WizKids is doing with the Marvel and DC dice, but,
Yeah.
but I don't know that for sure. So
Might be an interesting game to check out.
that's all I've got.
That's it for me.
That do it, folks?
And that'll about wrap it up, I think.
Okay. Well, I guess that's going to do it for the November 2017 Previews Catalog Campus Comics Cast. My thanks to everybody for coming in and talking about this. If there's anything you heard about that you're interested in, or you just want to come in, pick up a previews to look through it yourself, because as I've said before, no way we covered all this stuff. There's just thousands and thousands of items in there. You get them all in one place. The catalog, previews is only $4, and you get the Marvel catalog, Image, book, and they put stuff out all the time just to make sure you're not missing out on anything. So if you want to check it out, just come see us at Campus Comics at 816 East Main Street, Suite B. Give us a call at 618-457-6011. Go to Facebook, like our Campus Comics Facebook page, and message me through the Facebook page is probably the easiest way. And that's about all I got. Scott?
All right, if you want to catch up with me, you can email me at admin@burgcomics.com. That's with a U, B-U-R-G, comics.com, or just go to my webpage, burgcomics.com. There I also have like a link to like an Instagram feed where I post covers of books that I pick up. Just not a lot, but just some that really, really jump out at me. So not just totally trying to sell stuff. And of course, I've got an eBay store, so if you can't find it at Campus Comics, be sure and check stores.ebay.com/burgcomics.
If you want to follow me for a day and then drop me on Twitter, it's at Detective651. That seems to be the trend lately. And again, my blog that we keep mentioning is detective651.wordpress.com.
And I'm Tyler Wright, and I'm just on basic Facebook. That's it. So you can probably find me on there.
There you go. All right. Well, I guess that'll do it for this month. And until we talk to you next month, just collecting's great, but comics are for reading. So get out there and read some good comics. All right. Thanks.